All things are filled full of signs, and it is a wise man who can learn about one thing from another. Knowing ourselves, we are beautiful. In self-ignorance, we are ugly. Fear must be entirely banished. The purified soul will fear nothing. We are not separated from spirit, we are in it. God is not external to anyone, but is present with all things, though they are ignorant that he is so. Nature is but an image of wisdom, the last thing of the soul, nature being a thing which doth only do but not know. Knowledge has 3 degrees: opinion, science, illumination. The means or instrument of the first is sense, of the second dialectic, of the third intuition. I'm striving to give back the divine in myself to the divine in the all. Knowledge, if it does not determine action, is dead to us. You can only apprehend the infinite by a faculty that is superior to reason. Knowing demands the organ fitted to the object. Each one of us is part of the soul of the universe. The stars are like letters that inscribe themselves at every moment in the sky. Everything in the world is full of signs. All events are coordinated. All things depend on each other. Everything breathes together. Beauty is rather a light that plays over the symmetry of things than that symmetry itself. We must close our eyes and invoke a new manner of seeing, a wakefulness that is the birthright of us all, though few put it to use. The soul in its nature loves God and longs to be at one with him in the noble love of a daughter for a noble father. But coming to human birth and lured by the courtships of this sphere, she takes up with another love, a mortal, leaves her father and falls. Life is the flight of the alone to the alone. In this state of absorbed contemplation, there is no longer any question of holding an object in view. The vision is such that seeing and seen are one. Object and act of vision have become identical. Withdraw into yourself and look, and if you do not find yourself beautiful as yet, do as the creator of a statue that is to be made beautiful. The sculptor cuts away here, smoothest there, makes this line lighter, this other purer, until he or she has shown a beautiful face upon the statue. We ourselves possess beauty when we are true to our own being. Ugliness is in going over to another order. When we look outside of that on which we depend, we ignore our unity. Looking outward, we see many faces. Look inward, and all is one head. If a man could but be turned about, he would see at once God and himself and the all. We must not run after it, but we must fit ourselves for the vision, and then wait tranquilly for it, as the eye waits on the rising of the sun, which in its own time appears above the horizon and gives itself to our sight. Never stop working on your statue until the divine glory of virtue shines out on you, until you see self-mastery enthroned upon its holy seat. Never did I see the sun unless it had first become sunlike, and never can the soul have vision of the first beauty unless itself be beautiful. Being is desirable because it is identical with beauty, and beauty is loved because it is being. It is bad enough to be condemned to drag around this image in which nature has imprisoned me. Why should I consent to the perpetuation of the image of this image? happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Therefore guard accordingly and take care that you entertain no notions unsuitable to virtue and reasonable nature. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. The universe is transformation, life is opinion. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Nothing happens to any man that he is not formed by nature to bear. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Time is a sort of river of passing events, and strong is its current. No sooner is a thing brought to sight than it is swept by, and another takes its place, and this too will be swept away. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Nothing has such power to broaden the mind as the ability to investigate systematically and truly all that comes under thy observation in life. Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. Let men see, let them know, a real man who lives as he was meant to live. Begin. To begin is half the work, let half still remain. Again begin this, and thou wilt have finished. Life is neither good or evil, but only a place for good and evil. Look back over the past, with its changing empires that rose and fell, and you can foresee the future too. I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinions of himself than on the opinions of others. A noble man compares and estimates himself by an idea which is higher than himself, and a mean man by one lower than himself. The one produces aspiration, the other ambition, which is the way in which a vulgar man aspires. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Here is the rule, to remember in the future, when anything tempts you, to be bitter, not, this is a misfortune, but, to bear this worthily is good fortune. Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up, if thou wilt ever dig. Do every act of your life as if it were your last. Because your own strength is unequal to the task, do not assume that it is beyond the powers of man, but if anything is within the powers and province of man, believe that it is within your own compass also. Tomorrow is nothing, today is too late, the good lived yesterday. We ought to do good to others as simply as a horse runs, or a bee makes honey, or a vine bears grapes season after season without thinking of the grapes it has borne. Anything in any way beautiful derives its beauty from itself and asks nothing beyond itself. Praise is no part of it, for nothing is made worse or better by praise. Natural ability without education has more often raised a man to glory and virtue than education without natural ability. Such as are your habitual thoughts, such also will be the character of your mind, for the soul is dyed by the thoughts. Because a thing seems difficult for you, do not think it impossible for anyone to accomplish. Adapt yourself to the things among which your lot has been cast and love sincerely, the fellow creatures with whom destiny has ordained that you shall live. A man should be upright, not be kept upright. To understand the true quality of people, you must look into their minds and examine their pursuits and aversions. To the wise, life is a problem, to the fool, a solution. Death is a release from the impressions of the senses and from desires that make us their puppets, and from the vagaries of the mind, and from the hard service of the flesh. Perhaps there are none more lazy or more truly ignorant than your everlasting readers. We are too much accustomed to attribute to a single cause that which is the product of several, and the majority of our controversies come from that. Let not your mind run on what you lack as much as on what you have already. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. Be content with what you are and wish not change, nor dread your last day, nor long for it. How much time he saves who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks. Despise not death, but welcome it, for nature wills it like all else. Forward, as occasion offers. Never look round to see whether any shall note it. Be satisfied with success in even the smallest matter, and think that even such a result is no trifle. Whatever the universal nature assigns to any man at any time is for the good of that man at that time. Let it be your constant method to look into the design of people's actions and see what they would be at as often as it is practicable, and to make this custom the more significant, practice it first upon yourself. When thou art above measure angry, bethink thee how momentary is man's life. Each thing is of like form from everlasting and comes round again in its cycle. What springs from earth dissolves to earth again, and heaven-born things fly to their native seat. There is nothing happens to any person but what was in his power to go through with. Dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them. Think constantly on the changes of the elements into each other, for such thoughts wash away the dust of earthly life. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing, because an artful life requires being prepared to meet and withstand sudden and unexpected attacks. You shouldn't give circumstances the power to rouse anger, for they don't care at all. The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. We are like many pellets of incense falling on the same altar. Some collapse sooner, others later, but it makes no difference.